seat, please, babe? Thumb on the seat. Sit in your chair, please. Hey guys, how's it going? So today we are planting up the 10 large containers along our east fence line for fall. And I'm trying to remember back, have we ever planted these up for fall? I know we've had boxwoods in them at least one fall season. We've put greens in them for winter, but I can't remember if I've ever done like ornamental kale and pansies and things like that for fall. So that's what we're doing today, and I'm very excited about it. I already put together one, and we rarely do that. I rarely start the project before I start filming the project, but I wanted to see how it was going to come together, and I love it. Look at that. Look at how beautiful that is. I really wanted a very uniform, clean design, which means you use a lot of repeat plants and you only pick a few plants. So in here, we've got ivy, which will be good through the winter. Well, and it's perennial. I mean, I could keep it in here. When I'm done, I can move it out. We've got ornamental kale. I'll tell you the name in a minute when I can find a tag. And this will be good through the winter as well. Then we've got Dusty Miller. This is the serrius variety, and oftentimes these will hold, through a really hard frost, and they'll eventually start to wilt down when it starts getting super, super cold for a prolonged period of time, but they will last for a long time. And then as a centerpiece, I went and cut some of our corn, and I cut 6 hydrangea blooms off of the quick fire fabs in the back corner of our property. And you can see the gator here is all loaded up. We've got lots of things in here. I think I've got enough stuff to get 3 completely done. Then we'll have to go get more corn and hydrangeas. But let's see if we can find a tag. Kale ornamental crystal snow. These are gorgeous. They are so pretty and so big. Oh. Now there is one different thing about how I'm putting these containers together, because when you look at the Dusty Miller and the kale in their containers, they're about the same height, but not when we get them planted. See the beautiful layering we have there? I created a second layer, planting layer in here using a piece of really thick cardboard. So we actually have a tiered planter inside this container, and you'll notice that the kale aren't flat. Like if we were to plant them with the roots facing straight down, you would see the top of the cabbage like this way, but we tip these a little bit as well as the ivy so that we get the nice spill effect right away, and we can see the face of the kale as we approach the container. And these are all still on drip. The cardboard will hold up through this fall season, probably through the winter. It's not something I would do for a summer container, but I would do it for a spring and of course fall container. So anyway, I want to show you how these go together, how I'm doing this. First off, these are the jumbo jardiniers from Unique Stone, and I want to say they're like a 30-inch diameter maybe. I have to look that up to be certain. We have fresh soil from top to bottom. We cleaned out all of the summer stuff, and then we have our drip system already set up, so we'll leave that flopped out of the container until we are done planting, and then we'll weave it through the plants. So I'm going to set up a camera and try to get some good close angles so you can see how I'm doing this. Now, while these are all going in a little bit different than how you would normally plant a container, every single root ball is completely covered with soil, and everything should do great. And I am packing it full too, and that's another thing I've always mentioned. In fall and spring containers, you're not dealing with the kind of growth that you deal with in summer, so feel free to pack them full from the very beginning because I just don't need the space. All right, so let's walk through the steps. The first thing we're going to plant is our outer ring, which consists of our ivy, which this is what variety? Needlepoint ivy, and our kale. And I'm going to set them out first. So I'm going to set this one here, one like that, all the way around. I am not going to use an ivy on the back side because it's kind of a waste of a plant. So there will be 2 kale kind of next to each other without an ivy between it. Let's get these set. And we want them close together, like so. Okay, so what I have here is an ivy, kale, ivy, kale, ivy, kale, ivy, kale, kale, ivy, kale, ivy, kale, if that makes sense. So right here, we don't have an ivy coming out the back. Let me just clear these out so you can see what I'm doing here. So with our first ivy, take it out of the container, rough up the roots if you feel like it's root bound. And because we water these on drip and they get such a slow, steady stream of water, it has a chance to soak in without like bubbling up. I'm gonna put this root ball right up to the top of the container right there. And it will seem wrong to do that, but it'll be totally fine. We're gonna put soil around the whole root ball, and we will be checking all of these root balls in the end as well. But now it's time for a kale. Are you filming too, Samantha? Cute. So we're gonna take this one out of the container. Look at these roots. Those are intense. I'm gonna break that up a little bit. Excuse me, baby, I'm gonna put a plant right here. We tip that root ball like this because we want this to be facing out. Now this is higher than this, but in the end, because we are building up another layer inside, we're gonna be able to fill in over the top of this eventually. So I know it looks wrong and scary right now, but trust me. Okay, another kale. I'm gonna do the same thing.
No, delicious.
Now we've got our ivy. We're gonna do that all the way around. Okay, I've got another bag of soil because if you take a look in here, see how the root balls look nicely covered, and they're gonna get even more covered than that, but we need to fill in with a bit more soil. Oh, this bag of soil is wet. Ugh. Okay, the whole bag. This is gonna be our next planting level. Now let me grab my cardboard right here. So I'm just gonna mold this real quick so we can make a circle with it. This is thick cardboard. This is came from the box that our Adirondack chairs came in from Country Casual Teak. I'm gonna sink that in just a little bit. I couldn't cut quite a long enough piece, so we have to make do here. Look at that. So you can come in with soil back behind these, fill in if needed, but I don't feel like we need to. Filling in around all those root balls, I don't feel any air pockets at all. So that's our second layer right there. Isn't that fun? Okay, so with the Dusty Miller, what I like to try to do is get one between each kale, kind of like that. So take it out of its container, kind of plant it at a slight slant like that. Kind of do the same thing. How many do I need? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I brought enough over. Oh, save the nice big ones for the front. Look at that. Oh, that is so pretty. I love these for fall containers. And so you'll notice I don't have any plants for these that have blooms. I mean, we'll use the hydrangea blooms, but I almost didn't do that. In the first container, it looked very clean and very nice even without them. So that's totally personal preference. I'm gonna replace this one. This one's a little smaller. Put that one toward the back. Nice big one toward the front. Okay, so we've got our ring of Dusty Millers in. Now I'm gonna create a little well, not a little one, kind of a deep one with my hand because it's easier to put the corn in without having to push it all the way down through the soil. And you know what, before I do the corn, let's get the drip up through here. So this is long enough to where I can sneak it in behind all of the kale on the lower level. Do this by feel here. Oh, where'd your shoes go, babe? Kitty doesn't want you to pet him right now. Okay, so I've got this much left. We're gonna pop up into the top, and that's what will water the Dusty Miller up there. It's perfect. Let me grab the corn. This is a bundle of 10 right here. I'm gonna pop these down in. I'm gonna sink them down in and then tamp them in, spread them out a little bit, and then push the soil in around them. So they should be fine. They shouldn't blow around in the wind. Shouldn't, just be the key word here. Oh, so pretty. Now hydrangeas. Take all the leaves off of them first. Look at that big beauty right there. Nice part about this is that a lot of times our hydrangeas, they'll burn on one side. So I can just face that toward the corn stalks and use the good side facing out. Okay, here we go. So these, we just sink down into the soil right in there, give it a little bit of extra fluff. Again, I don't really feel like these are 100% necessary, but they do add a little extra oomph down toward the bottom of the corn. Done. Isn't it fun? Oh, I just love it. This corn needs some help though. Might have to mess with the corn a little bit to get it right. That is so pretty. I love it. All right, guys. I got 8 more to do. Oh, you guys, I love how these turned out. So there's that first one we did, and then look at all of them. Oh, I love just how there's, you know, a lot in each container, a lot. But they still have a very simple look to them, which I appreciate sometimes, especially after, you know, your summer plantings, which are usually, well, ours were a mess by the end. I mean, we had purple fountain grass that had been flattened by a couple of huge rainstorms that we had come through, and they had kind of picked back up, but part of them was still laying down. And then, you know, the sweet potato vine was halfway across the driveway after trimming it twice, and then our supertunias were starting to look a little tired. It's just nice to see kind of a clean look after that. And I like both. I like having the abundant flower filled, you know, drapey containers, but I also like this. Now I'm probably gonna cut more corn stalks. I was trying to just use 10 per container because I didn't know how many I had out in the garden. And I have plenty more to go. Put like, I don't know, 5 to 7 more in each pot just to kind of bulk it up a little bit. And I think that will be perfect, but I'll do that later on. I need to get these all watered in. The fourth one in, so let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. That one had the shortest drip line, so I need to get in there and extend that just a little bit, but the rest of them, it worked out beautifully. And you know, as you're looking at these containers, you can't even see the cardboard little layer. Isn't that crazy? I just love how it gives you the ability to do a stacked container look like this. And I do prefer to have them all match when they're this close together. There was one summer where Aaron and I did that container challenge where he designed 7 of the pots. At the time we had 14 here instead of 10, but he did 7, I did 7. And so every single one of them was different. And while it was a very fun experiment, I'm glad it was just an experiment, not something permanent, because it's too much. When you have something that's all in a row like this, it's just nice to have a continuous look. It's more restful in the eye. So you can do as much color and as much stuff in the container, but as long as they all match, then it doesn't look like too much. And the wonderful part about these containers is that once fall is over, we will pop the corn out and I will pop red twig dogwood right in the center. We might need to add a few greens, you know, if these have started to kind of wilt down a little bit, but everything else will stay. I love that. Okay, we are gonna plant 2 more containers because they're easy. They're the 2 shallow urns behind the Hartley, and we're just doing ivy and pansies right here. I might do just all lemon yellow or a mix of both, kind of candy corn style. And then another type of ivy. Now they have a needlepoint tag in this ivy, but that is not needlepoint ivy. So I'm not sure what kind that is, but it works out. We actually ended up with exactly the right amount of needlepoint ivy that we needed for those 10 containers. It worked out great. still have some Bordeaux back here. We've had to pull some out, you know, where we had that great big water leak right there. And these containers I am going to be planting up for fall as well, but they still look so pretty. But I think after this weekend, we're going to get pretty cold. I don't know. I think they might be done after that. But oh, I just have enjoyed those so much. These are the urns right here. You see the little viola that we had spring up by the bench. Now we have this Joey's lamb's tail, which is a super cool, it's not a grass, but it looks like the plume of a grass. I don't really know. I don't know. Anyway, we've got, let's see, 3 in this container and there's 1 over there. I think I'm going to take these out and pot them in the greenhouse and see if we can't winter them over. We started these from seed. They're so neat. But I'm thinking, yeah, this container is wet. I need to take all this soil out and start over because I don't know what is going on with the drainage here. Okay, let's get these done. Okay, all done. Went with a mix of the lemon yellow and the orange with the ivy. I think that looks very fresh. Oh my goodness, so fresh compared to what we had going on in there. And just simple, and I really like it. And there's that one, looking very much the same. And these should do really well through the winter too in terms of interest, even the pansies. Unless we get really cold, most of the time they look a little bit sad and kind of withered down in the morning, but if it's sunny out especially, they'll pick back up by lunchtime and they'll look great. And you guys, I realized that my microphone was not on for part of the video, so I do apologize if the audio was kind of crummy there for a little while, but either way, I'm really happy that these fall containers are done. Like I said, I have plans to do the 4 around the Hartley at the corners, the ones out at the cut flower garden, couple in the Versailles garden, and then just whatever else kind of happens to fall into place. But I'm just enjoying seeing some fresh plants out. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.